Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I want to talk about a story that happened over Christmas Eve. And it's been out for a couple of days. I didn't have time to get to it, but I mean, this is truly sad, man. And this goes to show you, you can't help everybody that looks to be in distress, because a lot of times they're like trapdoor spiders. As soon as you come up close enough, they'll sink their teeth into you or their fangs. And you know, the only person that suffers is you. Don't understand why, you know, there's so much evil out here to where people just do some of the craziest things for no reason. But this story right here should have never had happened in the first place. The justice system had did their job. You see this man up here? This piece of crap is Malik Webb, 29 years old, Flint, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, this man right here, let me get this page together so I can show it to you, is facing 19 charges, at least 19 felonies. And they range from felony murder, assault, all kind of stuff. This guy, ladies and gentlemen, this story took place in Oxford, Michigan. Shout out. This guy, like I said, is from Flint, Michigan. He killed one woman, injured two others. All because this guy drove his car into a ditch. People stopped to help him. And as they tried to help him, this guy shot people, tried to carjack one woman, killed the mother while she was in the car with her daughter. The woman was a doctor. This video will tell you a little bit more about it and tell you more about Mr. Webb, but why his dumb ass should have never been let out. And he should have been shown the flowers a while ago. Take a look at this.
We begin tonight with the Oxford community still reeling from a deadly shooting on Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Mike Duffy.
And I'm Whitney Burney. Tonight we've learned that this may have all started with a good deed, but it ended with 3 people shot, including one woman who later died from her injuries. Good Samaritans were simply trying to help a driver in a ditch.
Tonight, 7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley is sharing the story of one woman who says she came terrifyingly close to being a 4th victim.
Yeah, that woman was driving here on Ray Road when she saw a pickup truck on the side of the road and another car in the ditch. She pulled over to see if she could help, and she nearly paid for it with her life.
I opened up my car door. I didn't see anybody. Then out of nowhere, this guy came up to me and just put a gun to my head. He slammed my head against the van, you know, with the gun. And then I locked eyes with him and he lifted the gun. So I stepped back, and at that point, I told the car that was in front of me to call the cops, and then he started shooting. I think he shot like 3 rounds.
This Christmas, Ashley Vanesti is grateful for the gift of life. The Oxford wife and mom of 2 was one of the first to encounter the suspect, who shot 3 people Tuesday, killing 1. Vanesti was not struck.
All I heard was screaming and shooting. At that point, I ran out in the road, and that car that was originally stopped, come to find out it was one of my best friend's daughters. I don't know what would have happened if he came up on her instead of me.
Oakland County Sheriff deputies arrested the suspect shortly after the shooting occurred, but the damage was already done.
You know, I checked on the people in the truck, and they didn't look good. It's just images that I'll never get out of my head.
Families upended, lives forever changed. Over what?
That's a great question. The question is, why was the guy here?
That's a very good question that they should be asking their legislators and their prosecutors. You know, the individual comes from another county with multiple arrests for weapons offenses, dangerous drugs.
Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard says prior to the shooting, the suspect pointed a gun at people after crashing his car on a different side of town.
Left that scene, and then ultimately the final scene was where we had our most tragically injured victims, where 2 women and a man were shot.
Meanwhile, Vanesti, though mourning the death of one of the victims, is thankful to be alive.
I definitely had people watching over me, and I just need to spread good because apparently that's what I'm here for.
That suspect is in custody and could be arraigned on Friday. In Oxford, I'm Randy Wembley, 7 News Detroit.
New details emerged in the Oxford Christmas Eve shooting. Tonight, the alleged gunman, now identified as Malik Webb from Flint, is facing a slew of charges. This as police reveal more information about the victims. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Will Jones. Prosecutors say Malik Webb carried out a senseless rampage in a community that is still healing from the Oxford High School shooting in 2021. Erica Erickson is live with those new details. Erica.
Good evening, Will. Well, I can tell you that Webb is charged with 19 counts, including murder. And what police say makes this all even more senseless is that all of those victims, his alleged victims, were trying to help him.
The cars that had stopped were seeking to ask if he was okay, and they were rewarded with violence.
Called vile and disturbing, the murderous rampage Oakland County deputies say 29-year-old Malik Webb committed Christmas Eve. Webb now charged for taking the life of 71-year-old Dr. Barbara Wolf of Oxford Township, badly injuring her daughter, shooting another man in the arm, and terrorizing another woman. All of them, police say, had offered to help Webb that night.
There's no way to understand how somebody can be that violent, that murderous to somebody that's trying to reach out to them on Christmas Eve. I mean, this is a person that shouldn't see the light of day.
Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard says Webb had been on his way home to Flint from a Christmas party and randomly ended up in the Oxford area after getting into an accident. Police say he tried to carjack a 39-year-old Oxford woman holding the gun to her head. Then, after driving his car into a ditch on Ray Road and North Oxford Road, at some point fired roughly 30 rounds, killing Wolf and hitting her daughter several times in the upper body.
She has some very horrific injuries. She was shot multiple times.
Police arresting Webb with the gun in his hand. They say his history of violence goes back a decade. Turns out Webb had recently been released from prison.
We appreciate the prosecutor throwing the proverbial book at him. It's overdue, I think, given his criminal history.
Back out here live, we are hearing from the McLaren healthcare community tonight about Dr. Wolf. They tell us that as news has spread about this tragedy, there is immense grief, shock, and sadness from the many lives that Barb touched, both within McLaren and in the communities she served. Everyone's sending love and support to her daughter, who is in the hospital tonight. Reporting live, Erica Erickson, Local 4.
That's the story of this oxygen thief, Malik Webb. And what's fucked up about this whole situation is, have you ever sat around and you're driving, it's dark outside, you see somebody on the side of the road, their car is in a crazy looking position where you know they can't get the car out, and they obviously look like they need help, and you see them, and then you drive by, and like something kicks in your head, the human side of you is like, hey, I should stop and help them. But the reality sense of what's going on in the world make you say, damn, I hope they make it all right, and you keep driving. A lot of times that saves your life, regardless of the little bit of guilt you have. I'm more than sure these people stopped, especially the woman that's a doctor, because she's used to helping people. Dr. Barbara Wolf, may she rest in peace. She probably was like, yo, it's Christmas Eve. Don't know if you got presents in there for kids. Don't know, everybody, you know, it's that time of year where everybody's trying to, what they say, goodwill towards men and exercise goodwill, and it cost them big. My guy was the devil in disguise. It's messed up. Try to carjack one lady, putting guns to women's heads. Said 56-year-old Oxford man who also stopped to help was shot in the arm. Another victim, a 39-year-old Oxford Township woman, was reportedly held at gunpoint by Webb in a failed carjacking attempt. Dr. Wolf was transported to the hospital, which was the other person up here, the doctor. Said Wolf's 38-year-old daughter, a passenger in the car, was shot numerous times during the incident. So he just let loose on a car full of women. that offered him assistance. One of them was a doctor. Sickening. Extensive violent history. History of violence. And he's out. I told you before, when people have violent crimes, you know what I'm saying? Should lock their asses up. Leave them locked up. Or show them the flowers. Shouldn't have no bond and shouldn't be able to make deals. With the shit this guy did, he should have still been locked up from the time they said he was. That's the thing. You can kill somebody and have a body and get out in 5 years, sometimes 8 years, depending on the deal that they take or how strong they feel as though the evidence is that they can convict you, even though they know you did it and you confessed yourself. Justice system ain't shit. You shot somebody. You open a gun in the crowd doing some ninja shit and hit a kid, kill the kid. You get no deal. You get no breath in your body. Talking about, oh, this guy shouldn't see the light of day. You're right. Bury him alive. Throw dirt on him. He'll never see it again. He'll never see it again. If you pay attention to the way crime is and the way crime is handled in the judicial system, it's a big joke because a lot of people don't think about this. Every time you see this stuff, what do we constantly see, guys? What do we constantly see? Guy doing a crazy crime that should have him locked up for a long time till he's old. All of a sudden, he's out. Perfect example of that is a lot of these sexual assault cases. Men raping women getting out in 3 years. Women still ain't even done healing. Touch kids. 5, 6 years, come out of prison. What? Do the same thing again. So that's the thing. Prison doesn't change you. It just magnifies who you are. And if you're really weak-minded, it makes you feel as though you're stronger because you survived that and it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. And all of a sudden, you want the street cred. This guy's 29 years old, already did a stint in jail, came out, did something way worse than the last time when he shouldn't have been let out in the first fucking place. That's just how I feel about it. You change the punishments, you change the people. But for some odd reason, they don't see it like that. And this is going to continue to happen. Good people trying to do something good for a bad person that devastates their outcome and trying to be nice. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. 29 years old. Threw his life away.